Welcome everybody back to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're doing another seasonal championship, this time breaking new ground, and yeah, we're going to be in off-road cars. I think it's in A-class, I can't quite remember because I have been doing so much lately in personal life and in terms of this game that I have completely lost track of everything right now, but yeah, we are going to be in some off-road vehicles. I imagine there's going to be a couple in there that we have reviewed, so it'll be interesting to see what we can do in comparison to, you know, other cars as well as just in terms of themselves. So let's see, when I review a car, I'm not necessarily testing it directly against any other vehicle, but yeah, these races obviously do that for you. So yeah, let's see what cars we're going to be getting in.
You ready to take on this winter championship? What am I saying? Of course you are.
I'm always ready. So what we're going to be in, we're going to be in the Hennessey Velociraptor 6x6, which is actually the car you can win by doing this championship. The Hoonigan Ford Bronco, which we've recently reviewed. The Mercedes-Benz G65 AMG. The 2017 Ram Rebel TRX Concept. Because it's upgraded, the Pterodyne Gurkha LAPV and the Jeep Willys. Well, the Willys MBG, but they've been upgraded. I forgot to take them out, but whatever. We've got four to choose from. I think we'll go for the Ford, the Hoonigan Ford Bronco first. It's got plenty of power, as you can see, 435 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque for its 5-litre naturally aspirated V8 engine. But as you can also see, it's got plenty of ground clearance, it's got all-wheel drive, and yeah, big chunky tyres as well. So this is going to hopefully be more than capable of dealing with whatever this course or track or whatever throws at us. Now, like I said in my review, this is easily one of my favourite, if not my actual favourite Hoonigan vehicle that we've had on this game, purely because it's more similar to the original car while also at least being upgraded enough to be usable in modern day life and competitive against other off-roaders. And the fact it's not, you know, stupidly silly in terms of power is also good, because that kind of stuff is all well and good in the moment, the cars rolled over there, but at the end of the day that level amount of power does become quite unusable in certain circumstances, unless conditions are perfect. Then, you know, a 1000+ horsepower car really isn't going to be all that much help in most races or most environments. Certainly won't be much use here, even with all-wheel drive. You need to keep traction. You're not going to be keeping traction if you were spinning hundreds and hundreds of horsepower through those wheels. Well, they're capable of dealing with the off-road stuff as well. Just like the original Ford Bronco, to be honest, but obviously this has been made to deal with literally anything, whereas that stock car certainly would struggle to deal with a lot of these bumps and jumps. So it wouldn't be so quick through the water, that's for sure. Obviously the ride height is a lot lower in the stock version. Right, over the river there, that's good. It's not to dive in any water. It's got plenty of power to lug itself up any gradients, which is obviously quite necessary in an off-road vehicle. Oh, kind of hit our nose there on the ground there, which slowed us right down. Preferably want to land on your wheels, because at least you'll keep moving forward. Not going to win by a mile here, but we are going to win nonetheless. Very, very close there. Yeah, literally only just over 0.2 of a second ahead of the Ram Power Wagon, and ahead of the Ford Bronco BJ. That's the Barrett Jackson version, which I actually prefer this Hoonigan Bronco to. And yeah, also ahead of the upgraded International Harvest Scout 800A. And again ahead of a Ram Power Wagon 5th. So yeah, all well and good there, but obviously we do have 2 more races to go. So let's see what happens in the second race. So the Hoonigan Ford Bronco there stood us in good stead there, so let's see what a Velociraptor 6x6 can do. A lot more wheels, 2 more in fact, and yeah, hell of a lot more power and torque, but also more in the way of weight. But it does have a smaller engine, so it's going to be a little lighter up front, but yeah, still going to be a huge amount of weight to haul around. But yeah, handling wise it's actually slightly better, braking wise it's actually slightly better, and it's got a better top speed as well, but acceleration is down and launch is way down as well, just because of how much it actually weighs, and you know, you got all that power going through 6 wheels rather than 4, and yeah, that means the power is, you know, more spread out than a 4-wheel drive car would be. So yeah, really rather looking forward to seeing how this can do, because in my experience of driving this car, it does have a hell of a lot of understeer, purely because it's not as easy to get its rear end going around, because it has 4 wheels and therefore more grip. So yeah, it understeers a lot more than it would in a standard F-150 Ford vehicle. But who knows, it might excel here. Certainly not going to if we keep hitting bridges though. Did not see that little lip sticking out there. Fear with this is because obviously we're on a lap race, it might not be as comfortable as it would be, say, in a point-to-point race. Just dealing with the rough stuff okay, which is good. There's a fellow 6x6 in the form of the Mercedes, which we're somehow even larger than. We're in 3rd place, which is surprising. I'm expecting us to struggle a fair bit more. I'm not necessarily to the point of not being able to win. Oh dear, I've landed on a car. That wasn't good. Interesting how much larger these are over the standard Raptor that we're alongside. Just, you know, longer, but seemingly a lot taller as well. We're actually winning, which again I wasn't expecting to happen so quickly. Oh, then again we are on our 3rd lap. So as this is doing as well as it is on a relatively short circuit, to be honest. Like I said, I expected a longer, wider, more open point-to-point race to favour this more. We've actually got a bigger lead now than we did in our previous race. Soft margin. Yeah, massively surprised by the Velociraptor there. Velociraptor even. Yeah. As you can see, nearly 4 seconds ahead of a more normal Raptor, as well as more than 5 seconds quicker than another Raptor. We're well ahead of the Mercedes-Benz G63 6x6, which is, yeah, smaller than us, but actually quite heavy because of how much it focuses on luxury. And then another International Scout 808 in 5th. So yeah, the Scout there being one of the few vehicles that is in the top 5, that was in the top 5 in the previous race. But yeah, that gives us another 20 points, giving us 40 overall. 8 and 12 points respectively against the 2 Raptors. 16 points ahead of the Mercedes 6x6 and 22 points ahead of the International Scout. So yeah, we've pretty much got this in the bag, but you can never be too sure in these races, because I could easily get last and subsequently lose the championship. So yeah, let's move on to the third and final race and hope that doesn't happen. So the Hennessey there being surprisingly effective on a circuit race there, but yeah, it's a little bit tricky to drive, and yeah, really rather hit or miss about whether or not it's going to be actually successful. So yeah, I think we're going to get in the Mercedes-Benz G65 AMG for our final race. Not the most up-to-date car here, and yeah, certainly a little bit outclassed in terms of its general off-road capability. Certainly doesn't have the height or the tyre width of the previous two vehicles that we've tried, but it does have 603 horsepower, so slightly more than the Hennessey. 737 pounds-feet of torque, so actually more than the Hennessey there, and it does also weigh less as well. But yeah, I've had issues with this in terms of handling on certain Forza games, but they generally tend to be more track-based games. I hope that it's not got those same issues on this off-road circuit, so let's see how it does. Also picked this because we obviously picked two previous cars being American cars, so it only seemed right to at least change it up a little bit with our third and final race. But yeah, I'm hoping this is at least capable of dealing with everything that we've got going on. Says we can upgrade to beat unbeatable, but I really don't want to, because yeah, they genuinely are unbeatable at times. You have to be pretty much pitch perfect when you're racing with everything in terms of, you know, drive line and how you get into the position you get into in a short amount of time and whatever. To be unbeatable drivatars. And yeah, I'm far from the best driver, and it also I think it's actually back 2 places into 12th place. So you've even got less of a chance to win at a race. Sure, it's all fun in your own time, but when you're doing this kind of stuff, recording and the like, it's just more irritating than enjoyable. But we've quickly got up to 3rd place with this Mercedes. All of the power and torque that this massive 6-litre V12 has going for it is working out well. Also has 2 turbochargers on top, so that's why it kind of has all of that torque. It's not the most aerodynamically shaped vehicle either, unfortunately. Meaning, despite all of that power and torque, it's quickest at the top end. Luckily we don't have to really worry about that here. Top speed is merely a number, not an achievable target. This is really where it's at home. I've tried driving this car on Forza Motorsport 7, and yeah, it's a real pig of a car to drive on that game. It's really not at home on, you know, tarmac at speed, whereas here at speed it's perfect. We actually got up to 125 miles an hour there. Yeah, really do like driving off-road vehicles on this game. You really do get a sense of fun with whatever car you're driving. Even if it's not an off-road vehicle, it's still fun to drive off-road on this game. But in something like this, it's meant to do with this kind of deal with these kind of surfaces and terrain while going at speed. It's yeah, huge amounts of fun, and we've gained a massive lead over everyone else. Really didn't expect this to be quite as successful as it is, but power and torque really is hard to argue with. And yeah, 3 laps in under 3 minutes, meaning every lap was under a minute, is fairly damn good, to be honest. And as you can see, more than 3 seconds ahead of the Ford Raptor, more than 4 seconds ahead of another Raptor, more than 4 seconds ahead of a fellow Mercedes-Benz G65, and again even further ahead of another Ford Raptor. no International Scout 800A this time, but that's just how it goes. And yeah, there we go, 60 points, 18 points ahead of both Raptors, 20 points ahead of another Raptor, and 34 points ahead of a fellow Mercedes-Benz. So yeah, really solid championship that, and obviously you do get the Velociraptor that we tried in the second race as a reward for winning this championship. And yeah, it's a really fun vehicle, and yeah, really rather a mad vehicle as well. And if you like the Mercedes-Benz 6x6, you'll probably like that Velociraptor as well. So yeah, well worth getting, and yeah, these 3 races were fairly easy, but still fun to do. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.